So it's a learning, a living, and a leading kind of a formula that I have in my Youth Max camps, and they've been very successful.
Hey, welcome to another video. Today I have a very special guest with me, Glynis D'Souza. She is the founder and CEO of Glynis D'Souza Personal Development. She worked throughout Ontario, Canada during her leadership position at Toastmasters International. She developed leaders and nurtured high-performance teams that now serve more than 5,000 members. She was very successful in starting 22 new Toastmasters clubs, both in corporate and in community during her term. Glynis has also appeared on various TV shows and events, including the Speaker Slam event in Toronto. In October 2018, she stood for the public service in the municipal elections. She is frequently invited as a guest at Toastmasters contests for her engaging and motivational style. She is my very good friend, and it's an honor to have her here. Hey Glynis, welcome to my channel. It is wonderful to have you. It is such an honor and privilege. You've been such a great friend and encourager from the time that I came to know you. You know, on my channel since the past 2 weeks, I've been talking about this parable from the book of Matthew, this parable that Jesus told his disciples of these three slaves that the master gave each according to their ability, and he went off on a long journey. I particularly talked about the third slave who had, I think, in my opinion, had three misunderstandings. He misunderstood the master, he misunderstood himself, and he misunderstood the talent he was given. And I was thinking about this one concept of how important it is for us to know what our talent is, what we have been given. And recently, when I was talking to you and I asked Glynis, what are you good at? You didn't even waste a second. You came back saying, I am good at this. And it made me feel so good because there are very few people in this world who really know what they're good at. They actually take that and make it a blessing to others. So talk to us about what you are good at and why it is important to know what we've been given.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having me on your channel. I'm a big follower of your channel, and it helps me in so many ways. And one of the things that I know that I am good at is the gift of encouragement, the gift of approbation, being able to lift somebody up by a word or just picking up the phone. And so I've known for a while now, and people have told me that whenever I talk to them, I find the good that they are good at, the one thing that they can uh, be proud of for themselves. And that's what I talk to them about, and it makes them feel so much better. And that adds so much value to their day. And I know that that is my gift, the gift of encouragement.
That is amazing, Glynis. Very rare. And I think that is such a great gift that God has given you, and you are using it. So many times we want to encourage people, but we just feel like, okay, I'd rather be quiet than say something because I don't want to seem like, I'm buttering them up or trying to please them. But that's a natural gifting for some people, which they don't realize. They feel like people might misunderstand them.
That's so true. That's so true.
Um,
And, that's why it's important to know yourself so that you can then use your gifts for others.
yes, amazing. Another thing that you are really passionate about is praying for specific things, right? You want to pray for people for their specific need rather than general broad brush prayers. Tell me why it is important to pray specifically for things rather than people sometimes say, hey, pray for me, and we say, sure, but we never bother to ask, what would you like me to pray for? What is your need, or what are you going through in your life? So talk to us about why specific prayers are important, and do you have any answers to specific prayers that you have seen recently that you'd like to share with us?
That is such a great question. And again, it's one of my things that I love to tell people about because I learned it a while ago from, I think it was our pastor who was giving us a talk, and he talked about this one verse in the Bible that God says, come now, let us reason together. And when he says reason together, what he means is that we have to be specific. We have to present our case in front of God. And just like a lawyer is fighting a case in a court, we have to present our case to the Lord so that we can be very specific. Lord, please give me this and this and this, so that by our logic, then we will appeal to the mind of God, right? Because He's a logical person. And also, when you're a child, you don't just ask, Father, give me something. You'll say very specifically, I want that toy, I want this book, and that will be given to you. Recently, this power of specific prayers really manifested in my life because my mother in law was sick and she was diagnosed with this virus that's going on, the coronavirus, and because she lives in a nursing home. And we specifically prayed, I told the whole family, and we all prayed specifically for her to, number one, get a good sleep, and number two, for the pain that she was experiencing in her side to go away. And God answered this prayer because I believe that with the good sound sleep that she got, her whole body rejuvenated and she was able to then fight this virus, which, is such a wonderful miracle because she's 85 years old. She has a low
Wow.
immune system and she's been diabetic for more than 35 years. So God
Wow.
heard our specific prayer, and that's why I know that it works.
That is so amazing. Praise the Lord. Yeah, I remember you sharing the request to pray for your mother-in-law, and you specifically mentioned these three things of good night's rest and, for her to be able to fight this thing. Yeah, it is a testimony to see that this virus hitting so many older people, but having prayer warriors in the family praying specifically for these things, it's such a great testimony. Thank you for sharing it. And your mom too, right? Your mom was sick too.
Yes, my mom last October, about 6 months ago, was diagnosed with a very critical illness, something that people don't usually get cured for, and it had resulted in an internal hemorrhaging and bleeding near her kidney. She was actually rushed on the 19th of October, and the doctors told us, you know what, she's already over 80, and there's nothing that we can do. We cannot operate, so you can just, take her home and let her live out the last of her days. But
Mhm.
we again prayed very specifically. We prayed for my mom for the bleeding to stop, number one, and for number two, for her then to have the organs repair themselves and no swelling or abnormal growth. And right enough, she was discharged in December. Before that, the bleeding stopped, and in January onwards, she started to make a complete recovery. When she went to the scan again, the doctors were really perplexed. They were scratching their head and they just cannot believe how a patient at that age with that illness has now shown no symptoms and has been miraculously cured. We just celebrated her 81st birthday on the 1st of May, and she's truly a testament of being able to pray specifically.
That's awesome. Looks like there are some mighty prayer warriors in the family.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
Amen.
All my siblings and myself, and we have our parents to thank for as well. They've given us a very strong foundation
Mm,
of faith.
such a great testimony. I've seen your mom helping you in the kitchen on one of your Facebook lives. She is
That's true.
healthy and well and able to help you in the kitchen. What an amazing testimony. Praise the
Amazing.
Lord.
It's the new lease of life that she's been given, and we are celebrating every moment of it.
That's wonderful. And talking about your Facebook lives, I've always enjoyed watching your Facebook lives. I mean, there are people who do lives, and there are some people who are just so comfortable in their skin. And you are one of them, Glynis. I've always admired for how you are just comfortable with yourself. There is some underlying belief system that you carry that helps you to just be yourself no matter where you are, in front of thousands of people or just by yourself in the room. You are just yourself. So, talk about what is your belief system under that, and how does that help you to just be yourself?
Oh, that's another great question, Sam. You know, I've had people ask me this question even when I stand up and give speeches or I speak in public, and they always ask me, "How come you come across as so confident, and how come you feel like you're so sure of yourself?" And one of the reasons I can say is the reason I'm able to do those Facebook lives and those speeches and not really feel nervous about it is because I know that I'm loved. And when you
Wow.
know that you're loved, you have that special kind of confidence
Mhm.
that comes. I cannot put I cannot really express it in words, but you have to really experience it for yourself if you're watching, and I'm not talking about love by any humans. I'm talking about love by my father above. I've taken the time to develop my relationship with him every single moment, and I can feel his love enveloping me every single moment of the day. So that when I'm in front of a camera, I'm in front of people, all I want to do is give that love which I feel to others and tell them that, you know what, you're so loved. And because of that love that really envelopes me, I can have that confidence to be myself, to know myself, to love myself, and then to be able to love others the same way that he loves me.
I've gone through so many books on self image and self esteem, but just knowing who we are in the Lord and how much we've been loved and how much was given to us on the cross, I think it's just the most liberating thing and just brings so much into perspective. No matter what people have said to us or done to us, our identity does not come from how we've been treated, but from the Father. Yeah, and I think, like you said, when you know that you are so loved, you have that empathy for people. So when you are in front of people, the focus is not on you. The focus is on the people, of how you can help them, of what you are saying or doing can help them, right? So you're
Absolutely.
obviously so comfortable. You are really active with youth, and you have some amazing trainings that you give them in leadership and also knowing their personality. Talk to us about your passion with helping youth, and also what kind of trainings do you give?
Thank you, Sam. One of the passions that I have is for our youth to be empowered to become better leaders. The reason being, I find that a lot of youth nowadays, because they're sucked up in so much of social media, they don't have the right leadership models, the people with integrity. And so, what I try to tell them is that, you know what, you have leadership qualities right there inside you. You don't have to look anywhere else. You can develop your own leadership qualities. And so, what I do is I run Youth Max camps because that is part of the John Maxwell team offerings. And I run them 4 times a year, once every season. And that's a mix of both public speaking, because I've got a Toastmasters background, as well as leadership values. So I take a few tips of public speaking that I can give them, a little bit of leadership values, and then I help them not only by we are learning in the class, but then we are living it during the week, because I tell them to make a speech the next time on what they learned in the previous session, so that they are living out that value then, because I encourage them to give personal examples from their life. And then once you learn and you live, then you can lead others to it. And I always tell them that now it's your time to then lead other people to become a leader. So it's a learning, a living, and a leading kind of a formula that I have in my Youth Max camps, and they've been very successful. And I'm
That is so
really looking
cool.
forward to seeing some real good leaders in society soon.
Well, thank you so much for actually investing in youth. Learning, living, and leading, so important. Why do you think developing yourself as a good speaker is important in the day and age that we live in?
Yeah, that is one of my passions as well, to be able to speak, because one of my favorite books is by John Maxwell, and it's called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. Many people communicate, there's a lot of noise out there, but the important thing is to connect. Really, to connect, as if to say you're having a cup of coffee with the other person. Engage them with your eye contact and really speak so that they are able to relate to you. Speaking is a very important skill, and when I say speaking, I mean communicating and connecting, because all of us have causes that we believe in. And in order to make your point across and to have an influence in the world, you need to be able to speak and to communicate well. Because if not, if you don't develop your speaking skill, then you have to then really be in the background and able to be, you kind of get everything that everybody else is putting on you without you having a voice out there. So for me, the most important reason why you need to learn to be a better speaker and a better connector is to have a voice in our very noisy world.
especially when you strongly believe in certain things. And we as believers, we believe in what the Lord has commissioned us to do, is taking the gospel to the ends of the earth, right? And there are so many issues connected with the foundational principles of the Bible. And I think developing good speaking skills is so important, not only in the kingdom of the Lord, but if you are in a business or a career that you want to grow in. I think having this skill is just so important and crucial.
Big time.
Yeah. And finally, I have a lightning round of questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Awesome. So what is the best advice you received?
The best advice that I received is not to take yourself too seriously and not to be a perfectionist. Just work with what you've been given and do the best that you can. So the thing that I would say is do something every single day. That's the best advice that I've been given.
Wonderful. Who's the person you admire the most?
I would definitely first look for, the biggest role model that I have is John Maxwell because of his consistency. And that is one thing that I lack in my life. I used to, but I'm getting better now. So that's John Maxwell. Many of you know him. But another person that is a really of my role model is somebody who's in the John Maxwell team. His name is Al Rattan. And I really
Oh,
follow him because he is somebody who does things excellently well in his corporate training and speaking. So Al Rattan is one of my role models right now. And he is a person just like all of us, but he is somebody who strives for excellence. And that's why he's my role model.
that's wonderful. The next thing I want to ask is best decision in your career so far.
One of the best decisions that I made in my career is to take the initiative and to do whatever I can to add value in my workplace. So the best decision that I would make is that I kind of organize a few activities. How we can make a difference in the workplace. Who can we help? And so that thing is the thing that has made me. I've been on several teams and several committees where people are looking for volunteers like me to be able to go over and beyond our set role and make a difference in the workplace, especially for employee morale. So that's the best decision that I made.
That's wonderful. What's your favorite verse of the Bible?
Definitely, hands down, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That encourages me all the time.
So, this is a fun thing. What is one thing that you're looking forward to when this lockdown is lifted?
Oh my goodness me. One of the things that I am looking forward to is a good handshake. That is my that is my thing. We teach it all the time in Toastmasters, and I believe that people connect through physical touch. So if they're not allowing me to hug everybody, at least wear gloves or whatever it is, but at least the human contact of a handshake is the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to.
I know I can totally relate to this. What is one success habit that you have maintained so far?
Well, one of the success habits that I've maintained so far is consistency. Believe me, I was talking about it a while ago, and I wanted to make it the weakness that I have, I wanted to make it my biggest strength. So this past New Year's Day, I wrote down what I wanted to be consistent about. And so I read the Bible every single day, at least one chapter. I walk 10,000 steps every day. I've also given up dairy, so I don't drink
Oh,
any,
okay.
don't have any dairy in my
Hmm.
diet. And so it would be physical, mental, and a combination, and spiritual. So reading the Bible, walking every day, and then eating habits, giving up dairy and drinking more water. So I've been consistent with that.
Wow, way to go, Glynis, for maintaining that discipline and consistency. Way to go. Good job. And
Thank you.
finally, what would you like my audience to know? For the people who are watching this video on YouTube, what would you like them to know about you or the things that you believe in? It's all yours right now.
Thank you so much, Sam. I would like to encourage all of you that what? You are the best version of yourself right now. And you can get better, but just love yourself the way that you are. You don't have to really succumb to peer pressure or comparison because that's what you see everywhere. Just revel in who you are, love who you are, because my message is that there's somebody up there, there's God that loves you totally unconditionally and extravagantly. So have that feeling of being loved, love yourself, and then once you do that, then you can go out and love others.
Thank you so much for being such a great influence and encourager in my life. I really appreciate you, and I thank God for your friendship.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for blessing me in ways that you may not even know that you do. Thank you
Oh,
so much for having me
thank
here
you.
today.
Thank
Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. We really want you to know that you can be your best version of yourself because you're truly and completely loved by the Father in heaven. Remember, be unafraid and you will become undefeated. I'll see you again next week.